You. Yes, you. You need to learn your native language now. Kedu, my name is Brooke. Welcome to my channel. This video is going to be talking about why it is important for first generations to learn their native language. First point, some of you guys need to stop blaming not knowing your language on your parents. Every time I'm scrolling on Instagram and I'm on the Nigerian side of Instagram, y'all know, I see all these teenagers saying, oh, my parents never taught me Igbo, my parents never taught me Yoruba, my parents never taught me how to speak my language. Okay, at some point, yes, it is our parents' fault, but at the end of the day, there's no one to blame but yourself. When you get older and you have kids and you marry, you get into an interracial marriage and your husband is speaking his language to his kids and you're just sitting there because you only know English, you want to be able to teach your kids your language. Language is such a huge part of culture. And if you can't speak your language, you don't really know your culture. And I'm speaking to myself too because I cannot speak Igbo. Just a quick disclaimer, this video is not just for West Africans, it's for everybody. Everybody who cannot speak their native language. This video is for you. A lot of us, especially first generation Nigerians, we can understand when our parents speak their native language. We can understand when our parents speak Igbo or Yoruba, but we cannot speak it. We cannot speak it.
You understand Igbo perfectly, but when it's time to speak it, it's like your brain just freezes. Your mom says, Biari Henry, you know exactly what she's talking about. Your dad asks you something in Igbo, and you understand every single word. Your auntie even is telling you a story in Igbo, a very long story in Igbo language, and you're following up with the whole conversation. But the moment when they say to reply in Igbo, you suddenly switch to English. If this sounds like you, don't worry, because there's actually a name for this. It's called receptive bilingualism, sometimes also called passive bilingualism. What does that exactly mean? It means that you can understand the language really well, but when it comes to speaking it, you struggle because you find it very difficult to form your own sentences.
Now, it's one thing to understand the language, but it's another thing to actually be able to communicate backwards. Imagine if your parents tell you something in Igbo or in their native language and you're able to tell it back. They're going to be like, wow. They're going to be so surprised. Hey, you learned. They're going to be shocked. Second point, there's so much benefits of being bilingual. Researchers, scientists, neurologists, neuroscientists, they're still doing research on the benefits of a bilingual brain. Being bilingual is such a huge thing. It's such a huge thing to be able to do, to be able to speak two languages fluently. You'll be able to communicate with your families and elders. When you go back to Nigeria, when you go back to your countries, when they hear you speaking a language, they'll be like, is that my data?
Dear woman.
Is that my granddaughter? They're gonna be so surprised. And when you go to your country, you will be able to speak freely without limitations. You'll be able to speak freely because there's obviously gonna be people in your country that can't speak English. So when you're able to communicate with those people fluently here's the thing. When you're learning a language, you always want to strive for fluency. You want to strive to be fluent in it so you can express your emotions, express everything you want to say in that language. Just how I'm speaking English now, you should be able to speak in your native language like this as well. At the end of the day, you need to do it for yourself. You shouldn't just be doing this because you want to impress your parents. You need to learn your language for yourself, so that when you get older and if you one day have kids, you can speak that language to your kids. Your kids can also be bilingual. So you can say, I learned my language. I can speak my language. This is my culture. This is who I am. I was also watching this video of this Igbo boy who was talking about how unique native African languages are, because he was saying that the way that different languages express things, and it's so different. Like here in England, when you speak English, when you're saying I love you to someone, you'll just say I love you. But in Igbo, the way that people say I love you, they're saying I see into your eyes.
Igbo language is such a beautiful language. If you wanted to say something like I love you, you'd say Afurum Gianya, which basically the literal translation means I see you. And I don't know, I feel like something very beautiful about that. So you could bust it out on your, you feel me, on your Igbo girl. You'd be like, Achuluga, Obim, Imarama. I'm from Guyana.
Wouldn't it be so cool to be able to write in Igbo or write in your language and speak your language? Come on now, that would be so cool. Sorry y'all, I had to turn on the fan in the back because it was really hot. Third point, colonizer language. Let's get into the topic that some of y'all don't want to hear. Some of y'all rather learn French, Danish, Spanish, or German before you learn your own language. You rather learn the colonizer language before you learn your own language. Now, I'm not gonna lie, that used to be me. I used to be like, I want to learn how to speak French. I don't know how to speak German. I feel like, quite frankly, I think it's embarrassing if you're learning a colonizer language before you learn your own native language. I think it's embarrassing, and it's kind of sad that you rather learn French or Spanish. I know Spanish is most of these languages are common. You want to be able to, but if you can't learn your own language first, come on now. Like, that's so sad. Like, you rather learn somebody else's culture before you learn your own culture. Then I feel like a lot of West African languages are slowly dying because a lot of parents are not teaching or instilling the languages in their kids. Like, of course they'll speak it to their to their kids. Like, my mom, sometimes she'll just speak Igbo to me and I'll understand and I'll do what she says, but they're not instilling it in their kids. They're not instilling it. And when I was younger, my dad did attempt to teach me and my brothers Igbo. Like, we had to learn the Igbo alphabet, but the reason why I stopped is because the way he was teaching it to us, it was kind of like toxic. Like, if we couldn't say the word right, he would beat us. So he asked us if he wanted to continue learning it. I said no, because of what he did, I had a bad relationship with Igbo, the language. But now I'm not gonna let that stop me. Now I found comfort in learning it to do it for myself, not because my dad wants me to learn it or my mom wants me to learn it. I'm learning it for myself so that when I go back to Nigeria, when I go back to my country, I can speak it freely and express my feelings freely. And I want to emphasize this. Before you learn somebody else's language, learn your own language. Learn your own. I don't want to keep on having to repeat that. Learn your own language. Last point, this is the fun part, code switching. Have you ever been like in a store, a cashier pisses your mom or your dad off and they start speaking in their native language? The cashier won't even know what they're saying. Your parents could be cussing that person out in their language, but the cashier won't even know. Code switching. The most fun part about learning your language is code switching, y'all. Y'all could say the most nasty and disgusting thing about somebody and they won't even know. I remember a long time ago, my mom was, it was around the time my mom had graduated nursing school, and she had this Nigerian friend who was in the same school as her named Simon. And one time he turned to me and my brother and he was like, "Can you guys speak Igbo?" Igbo was my native language. He said, "Can you guys speak Igbo?" And we were like, "No." He said, I'll never forget what he said, the most fun part about learning how to speak your language is you can talk about anybody. Well, I'm not encouraging you to talk bad about people, but he's saying if somebody pisses you off in class, you can just speak Igbo and they won't even know that you're talking about them. Wouldn't it be so fun to talk, you and your friend talking about somebody in your native language and the person won't even know what you're saying? Come on, y'all. It's fun. It's fun. I have another story. Just the other day, I was on Omegle. Don't ask me why.
It's not handsome.
It says,
No,
the translated version in English says you are very handsome.
I think he means that.
Yeah, I also think like when I said that,
He means that you're very beautiful.
And these Danish boys, I think they're around 17, 18, they had pranked me. And basically, they were pretending that they couldn't speak English, right? So basically, it was two boys. So his friend had told me he was going to translate because I was speaking English to them. They told me that they were going to translate what I was saying to his other friend because they pretended that his friend was pretending that he couldn't speak English. So the friend was translating what I was saying. He was pretending to translate what I was saying in English, but instead he was actually talking bad about me in their language because I put my Google Translate on and they were calling me weird and strange. But you won't even know. If I didn't have my Google Translate, I wouldn't even know that they were talking bad about me because they were speaking a language that I didn't know. Anytime you're talking to someone or you're with people and they start speaking their native language, they're talking about you. I'm telling you, 10 times out of 10, they're talking about you or they're talking about someone. People start speaking in their native language. When they pull out the Spanish or the French or whatever, they're speaking and they're talking about you. I'm sorry. So I can't just sit here and call y'all out. I had to call myself out too. I'm 16. I'm currently going into my junior year, and this year I'm gonna take some time to learn my native language, and I won't be fluent yet, but I'm hoping that by my senior year or my first year of college that I will be fluent in speaking Igbo. If you want to follow me, do this journey together, subscribe, like, and comment. Subscribe, because I'm going to be posting more videos about learning Igbo. We're going to do this together. So if you want to follow the journey with me, if you want to learn it together, if you want videos on the Igbo language, subscribe to me because we're going to be doing this together because great minds think alike and we have to come together as a community. All us first generation Nigerians, you don't even have to be a first generation, you don't even have to be Nigerian. If you know you want to learn your native language, subscribe, and we're going to talk more about this stuff on my YouTube channel. Tell me what you want me to talk about in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. Never forget, learn your own language before you learn somebody else's, okay? Bye.